From Canada, Citizens Forum, where we look at the important issues of the day through a lens of democracy and media and try to figure out, how do we build a better country for ourselves? Hello, welcome to From Canada, Citizens Forum. It is Monday, March 31st, the end of March, 2025. We're going to be talking about tariffs today and the very important point that it is the U.S. Congress, not the president, who controls tariffs. The Congress has control of tariffs. And the reason I'm doing this tonight is really to ask the underlying question of why is that very important fact that tariffs are controlled by the Congress, not by the president. Why is that not being discussed anywhere, especially in Canada and especially by our media and politicians? Because it's very different if we're being told that an out-of-control president who is, a little bit gun happy, trigger happy, I guess you could call it, is, one day the tariffs are 10%, the next day they're 25%, the next day they're 50%, then they're canceled, then they're brought back. This is not a way that business can be done. But we kind of accept it because it's President Trump and, he's a little bit out of control, it seems. But if you bring in the fact, and it is a fact, that in fact it is the Congress that has control of tariffs, and they are allowing him to do this, then to me, the story is completely different because it means that the U.S. government, not just President Trump, is allowing this craziness to be done, not only to Canada, but around the world, because he is doing it everywhere and nobody knows what's happening. I'm not against tariffs. I think tariffs can play an important role in international trade. I sometimes wish Canada had more tariffs on some products because I think it would help us build a better and more stable society if we could control some jobs in Canada by imposing tariffs on foreign competition. So I don't think tariffs are a bad idea. But if you're going to have tariffs, you've got to have a plan. And it's got to be long-term, and everybody has to know what's happening so the world can react. If we look at this, this is from the U.S. Congress. If you look at the second paragraph, the Constitution grants Congress the power to regulate foreign commerce, impose tariffs, and collect revenue. As discussed in this report, Congress has long enacted laws authorizing the president to adjust tariff rates on goods in certain circumstances. So yes, the Congress can give the president power to impose tariffs, but they give him that power and they can take it back. And the president knows that, and the Congress knows that, and the media knows that, and the politicians know that. But we are not being told that very important point. And where is the Congress? Well, some things are happening. This is dated today, March 31st, 2025. This is, I believe he's a Democrat. Gottheimer fights back against Trump's reckless tariffs that will drive up prices and wreak havoc on the economy. This is a New Jersey congressman, and he says, or it says in the story, Gottheimer is helping introduce the Prevent Tariff Abuse Act, which clarifies current law to make it explicitly clear that the president cannot impose tariffs under the guise of a national emergency without congressional approval. And I'll just read that again. He's helping introduce the Prevent Tariff Abuse Act, which clarifies current law to make it explicitly clear that the president cannot impose tariffs under the guise of a national emergency without congressional approval. That is what the Constitution says. Tariffs fall under the power of the Congress. So why? I mean, I really don't understand why we Canadians are not being told this, and neither are the American people, as far as I know, because it really changes the argument. If we accept that the congressional leadership is without a fight allowing President Trump to do this, then it really becomes American policy. And why is American policy acting in such crazy ways? As I said a couple of minutes ago, I think tariffs can play a role, but you cannot do what President Trump is doing because it's crazy. It is destabilizing. And why is the Congress allowing him to destabilize Canada, the European Union, Asia, and also the United States, because they are the ones who are going to be paying these tariffs and paying higher prices? So why is the Congress silent? And in this same story, Gottheimer says, as I said, Congress has the constitutional authority to regulate foreign trade. So if the president wants to impose sweeping tariffs that will impact millions of hardworking families and small businesses, he better have a good justification for doing it. And that's exactly the point. So, we really should be asking this question. I heard that there is going to be a vote of some kind in the U.S. Senate tomorrow, which is Tuesday, April the 1st, on one of these bills, because several bills have been brought forward kind of opposing what President Trump is doing. And I don't understand. I mean, the American people may want tariffs because it will bring jobs in the long run back to the United States. But to do it in a crazy way benefits nobody. And I'm not sure why the Congress is allowing President Trump to do that. This is Larson, I believe he's a senator, and colleagues reintroduce bill to prevent cost-raising tariffs. This is from January 16th, so early on when President Trump was first talking about these tariffs. Today, and this is January 16th, 2025, today Representative, so Congressperson John Larson reintroduced the Prevent Tariff Abuse Act with several other representatives and a group of his Democratic colleagues. The Prevent Tariff Abuse Act would block the president from bypassing Congress to impose unjustified tariffs that will raise the cost of living for working families. And it's interesting that none of this gets any or much media attention, because if people knew that the Congress was fighting against President Trump, we would all have a different perspective on what's happening. I contacted CBC today in Vancouver and just showed them a couple of these stories and said, I hope CBC will choose to inform Canadians that it is the Congress and not the president that has the power to control tariffs. I don't expect to hear back from CBC, and I don't think they will report this, because I think clearly a decision has been made somewhere that Canadians will not be told this very important fact that tariffs are controlled by the Congress. I also phoned, there was a phone-in show on the weekend on CKNW, which is the largest news talk radio station in Vancouver. They were talking about tariffs. I phoned in, I got through, and I mentioned the exact same thing, that Congress and not the president controls tariffs. And the host was totally uninterested. I mean, he didn't say, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. He did know it, as a matter of fact. That was clear. But he wanted to make sure that his listeners thought it was of no importance. So there may be a vote of some kind tomorrow in the Senate, I believe. And I want people to just keep in mind, as we're being told these stories about Trump, that it is not Trump that is doing this. It is being allowed by the Congress, and it is being allowed by the media, who don't even tell us that it's happening. If anybody has information about this, please let us know, either in comments or try to contact us via email. We sometimes put an email address up. Thank you very much, and that's a bit of breaking news from Canada Citizens Forum. Thanks for watching.